very, very quiet.
Hi, this is the Professional Amateur Hour coming to you with another review. This week I checked out Jungleground, and this 1994 film was directed by Don Allen and stars Roddy Piper, Tori Higginson, and J.R. Bourne, among others, of course. So what is the story of Jungleground? Well, with this one, it kind of has a similar world to another movie called Escape from New York, where just a large portion of the city is just kind of blocked off, and the gangs kind of rule it and the cops stay out. And so this story has that. And then our main character is a lieutenant detective, and so he does some undercover work inside the zone. They don't actually call it the zone. I don't think they have a name for it, but I'll call it the zone. And he goes into the zone and does this meetup or drug deal or something, but it all goes sideways, and they discover he's a police person. So now they want to kill him, but they think it's going to be more fun to let him run, and then they chase him and kill him that way. And so now the lieutenant detective is on the run, and will he be able to escape the gangs and ultimately leave the zone? Well, for that you gotta watch the movie and find out. Alright, so let's discuss this movie. Well, with this one, I'll talk about the elephant in the room first, and that this is a ripoff of other movies that you've seen. And so it's a ripoff of Escape from New York, of course, which, was, I think, 14 years before as well. But it reminds me of other ones like The Warrior, certainly, with kind of this element of, being chased and by the gangs. With this one, also kind of like The Bronx Warriors. I think that's kind of a similar comparison, especially kind of with the lower budget as well. And so it's just kind of a corny, fun movie that they're just trying to, work with what people have liked in the past. So they're just trying to give you some popcorn fun with this one. It's Roddy Piper, running around, just escaping gangs. And it's, just like those other movies I mentioned. So if you like any of those, I think you'll probably like this one. Also with this movie, it's Roddy Piper as the star and the lead in this one. And I just like him as an actor. I didn't, watch much WWF or WWE as it's now known, back in the day when Roddy Piper was in it. But, I've seen classic WrestleManias and stuff, so I kind of know who he is. And I gotta say, I like him. I like him from other, acting roles that he's done. What is it? Hell Comes to Frogtown. He's great in that. They Live. He's great in that. And so I kind of find him as certainly just an underrated actor that if I see him in something, I'm more inclined to, press play on it just for him. He is just so charismatic in other movies, and this one is the same as well. He is having a blast. His chemistry is great with the other actors. His one-liners and the timing on his one-liners are excellent. And so just to see him on screen, is a blast, certainly. So I enjoyed it, for him as well. In addition, he's not the only actor who, makes this a good watch. All the other actors, I think, are doing a fun job. I gotta say, with all the characters, there are some wild characters in this one. Some great characters, all of the gang members, I find are just so memorable and so interesting and unique. And they got great names too. You got Odin, you got Thor, you got Dragon and Diesel and Game Show and probably, a ton more. And each character is just so unique looking, and I don't know, it's just a lot of just stuff that goes into it that makes it for this kind of fun vibe where, of course, it's all of that 1994 stuff. There's even one guy going around on inline skates, and you're like, oh, this is very 1994. And so it tries to bring all the edginess that comes with the 90s. And I would say I liked it because of it too. It certainly added this kind of finesse to the movie. In addition, with this movie, there's lots of action as well. Certainly, once he's on the run, he has terrible luck while he's running. They're always just behind him, one block behind him, they show up. And so he's just running and running and running and then fighting and fighting and fighting. And it's just a lot of fun. Even before, that running part starts happening, it's at least interesting and fun enough to, get through. And then the gunfights, there's lots of gunfights. There's some cool explosions. And just the amount of action is enough to satisfy any moviegoer. I think that brings me to what doesn't work with this one. Well, like I said, it's a rip-off movie, so it's just ripping off these other movies, so it's absolutely nothing new. So it's just kind of the same story that you've seen, a few times before, just retold with Roddy Piper this time. And as long as you don't mind that, it can be certainly a lot of fun. With that being said, there's also like no character development. I know I said I liked all the characters, they're a lot of fun, but nobody ever changes, nobody ever learns a lesson, nobody, has any type of, character arc. It's a very kind of straightforward, simple story and one that you've seen before. So as long as you're willing just to have fun with something that maybe you have seen, but at the same time, just a different retelling or different version of it, I think it works for what it's going for, and I had fun with it. It's just, nothing new. So would I recommend this movie? Well, I would say if you're a bad movie lover, certainly, and if you like movies kind of like with an 80 vibe to it, I would say, turn this one on as well. With this one, it is on YouTube, and I think YouTube has like two different versions of it. One where it's like kind of zoomed in to fit, the modern day TV, and then one with the classic, square screen. And I did watch it with the square screen. It just seemed like a slightly better quality to it. So, that's what I went with. But, it's out there for you to enjoy. So if you're just looking for like a fun, dumb kind of popcorn movie, yeah, press play on this one. As for a rating, well, Leo wants me to be more generous with my marks, but I think I gotta go off with what I feel about these things. And I would say I've had an above average amount of fun with this one. So I'm going to give it a score of 6, which is the above average score. And even that's probably generous too. And with that being said, I think that's all I wanted to say. So like, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Peace out.